Good morning. Good morning again, everybody. I just got to come out. Uh, I know I made a video about this. You probably remember a while back, but I just read. I looked up Freddie Freeman, and I seen how hard the Braves actually tried to keep Freddie, and I'm disappointed. Man, 5 years, $125 million. That was the first time. And they offered that to Freddie before the trade deadline of 2021, which would have put that around July. Okay? So that was 3 months. Well, let's see. Yeah, about 3 months, a little less than 3 months. Time you add up the days, about 80. There's probably about 20 days before 3 months or so, give or take. But I'm not into playing professional baseball and Major League Baseball. But I thought at first I thought it was a 1 year deal, and I was gonna be like, yeah, I wouldn't want that either. But to hear that it was actually 5 years, both times that they approached him, 5 years. The second time of which was during the off season after they initially had $125 million, which is more money than any person of normal, uh, that ain't famous, that ain't out there, of normal everyday life. That's more than an average person would ever make. It's more money than you'll ever need. It's more money than you'll ever. Most people in their lifetime will never see this type of money. You've got about 10% of people that play sports and they gets lucky enough to play on national TV, and you get lucky to be a part of something like that. Everybody doesn't get it. Like I said, it's 10% probably of the population, because there's only so many people. And there's really, I'm one of those few who want to be a singer or wanted to be something big. And I just never got that chance. I'm not going to hold it against anybody. I didn't push it on nobody. I told everybody I was fine. I like doing the singing stuff for fun. But I got to thinking, and then furthermore, the second offer that was made, I'm guessing before the whole shutdown or whatever you're going to call that, strike or whatever they called it, lockout, over that damn money and all that shit that they were so worried about, like they need it like a hole in the head. But again, this is the problem. It's gotten out of hand with money, and because like they're bitching about missing a week of spring training. Well, that's y'all's fault. Y'all the ones that wanted to hold everybody up, and y'all are lucky you get to play 162 games this year. But no, about Freeman, as much as I like Freeman, and as much as I don't like how he swings. I don't like it. My own personal opinion. I don't like how he swings the bat. I don't like it. Uh, I don't think overall, I think he's a better defensive player than he is actually on offense. I think what we saw, well, let me take that back. I know what we saw in the World Series was the best I've ever seen Freeman play on any given day. Just about any given day, that's the best I've ever saw. He hits most of the time when he was up there, home runs, the whole 9 yards. You say, Derek, he's got 2 cycles to his name in the regular season a couple of times. Yeah, he has a rare game like that, but I'm talking about something that you'll remember Freeman by is, and I always say this on MLB Network, and I give that channel a lot of times, I give them a hard time. Because I don't think they're fair to the lesser known teams, especially somebody that's like the Braves, especially. They don't show a lot of their games. You know, they'll show Boston, Red Sox, Yankees, or anybody else almost just about it, except for the teams that are small market. Which, you know, and you say, well, Derek, they sometimes show, yeah. But it's when they're backed into a corner, probably, which, although you could say, well, it'd probably have to be a picture of somebody big on the mound. Yeah. And that probably, if the Braves had John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, if they were to had them on the mound, oh, yeah, they'd be all over TV. If they'd had that back then, oh, man, the Braves, every team had a cluster of people on every team. You knew who the big boys were. Every team had it, not just 15 teams, or not just 20 teams. Every team that was out there playing had pitchers, hitters, about 6 or 7 hitters out of every lineup was a big one. And one thing that I haven't brought up yet is about the rules. I'll get back to Freddie here in a minute. But, I like actually the idea of having, and I've said this before, but I want to add this in there. I like the idea of having, the universal DH rule. I told my wife last night, and I was talking to her about how when you buy MLB The Show or one of their popular games, they always gave you the option. Oh, many years ago, I remember at least 15 years ago or so, they would let you do that stuff 20 years ago. But it was because it was a game. I don't know exactly when the first game started. That's why I'm saying I'm not exactly sure when that became an option. But I could go all the way back to MLB 07, the show. That puts you in 2006 right there. Because the number on the game is a year older than the actual date the game was actually made. So the roster is actually 2005, really, to about early 2006, because it would have to lead up to that year's whoever's playing. And the only thing that I always hated, and I found out, in the older games, like for the Super Nintendo and all that, and on up to probably the PlayStation 1, maybe the PS2 early, Barry Bonds would be in there. But I hear he's got to be such an idiot and not let Major League Baseball have the rights to his characters. So they'd always put some freaking no-name person in there, or some, I was like, where's Barry Bonds at? For God's sake. And I found out that it's him. That he's like the modern day Jesse Ventura, or some, body that wants to be a dick about everything and own the rights to everything they have. And, and it's just crazy. I mean, especially when we're talking about baseball games. I mean, my God, I'm not the biggest Barry Bonds fan, but man, that hurts the roster. You know, on games and stuff, and you hate to see something like Billy Bob or Billy Joe or whatever they come up with, and you're like, I don't belong in there, you know. And you can't hide Barry Bonds. I don't care about the steroid stuff. I don't care. I think it should have always been in there, and they should have come to a deal. Barry Bonds should have let it happen because that's money being lost on the table. I don't know what you get in baseball for appearing in a game, but you're losing money right there. Barry Bonds was losing a lot of money. I mean, yeah, he was getting paid good on the field, but it's also good to have that extra money in your pocket. But back to Freddie. I'm disappointed, because the Braves went out of their way. The first offer was 5 years, $125 million. Okay, said that. Second offer, get this. They went up $15 million more dollars. They went up to $140 million in the offseason. Yeah, they still had the 5 year deal. It's still 5 years. That didn't change. But, you know, I, as nice as Freddie is and all that, he don't that $125 million would have paid for everything that Freddie Freeman had and then some. Now, is it going to be easier to live in California? No. It's going to be higher. It's going to be a lot higher than living in Atlanta. I can guarantee you that. I don't know what it costs to live in Atlanta, but it's got to be cheaper than California. My dad traveled to California at one point and went up when my brother was in the Navy, and he said it was tough making it up there. He actually preferred coming back down here to Decatur, Tennessee, and living down here. Not just due to the money, but my brother and them's wife was arguing and fussing, whatever. And he told me all about it, but I ain't gonna disclose all that out here. But he just said, "Hey, Derek, it'd be much easier if I, because at the time I didn't have nobody, so my dad come back, stay a couple of weeks, but." Yeah, I would think my dad would be disappointed in Freddie Freeman. My dad was here the first 3.5 years that this guy was playing for the Braves. He passed away I think it was July 29th, 2013. And, my dad, like I said, I understand you need money. And I know being I don't know the feeling, but I mean, I would understand why there's more money involved, and when you make it to the pros, you want to get paid. But my God, $125 million, and then not to mention $140 billion. What more do you need? You know what I'm saying? What more does the feller need? You've got 5 years. It's not like, hey, I'm just going to sign you up for a year, and then next year I'm going to just, it wasn't like that. Who knows? And like I said, did the Dodgers get a pig in the poke? I don't know. Freddie, one thing that hurt him is his age. Now, he's a free agent, and free agents a lot of times get the big head. Some of them they don't have to worry because they're young enough. They'll pay them to go 7, 8, 9, 10 years on a contract, especially if they're in their mid 20s. But they're not going to give Freddie Freeman, who is 32 years old right now, they weren't going to give Freddie Freeman a 7, 8, 9, 10 year deal. Now you might say, well, it's never been what he wanted. Well, I understand that. But he reneged on the deal and gave it up because of a 1 year difference. He wanted 6 and the Braves offered him 5. I would have done this. I would have said, all right, I'll give you 6 years, but I'll do it this way. I will put a club option in there. And leave it up to the club. I guess that's the manager and I'm guessing now. I'm guessing that means the manager and the front office. Because I don't think the players get any say. Like I said, I'd have put a club option in there and had it for 6 years and give him which going by what he signed the previous ownership that was over the Braves, John Schuerholz or whoever it was that signed him to that 8-year deal extension, it was $135 million. Yeah, what the Braves were offering was a little less than that. At first, the $125 million. But when you consider they went $5 million more on the second offer, and for 5 years, like I said, I would have given him 6 and said, "Hey, here's club option." And if he performed up to what he had, because Freddie being in Atlanta's not a friendly home run ballpark. Their ballparks really never have been to an extent. I mean, they are foul poles and all that. It's a little less tough on that end. But, if you're going to center field, right field, left field, most of the time you have to almost hit it 400 feet or damn near close to it, to get it out. Whereas a foul pole, you can hit it like 315, 330 or something like that. There's about 50 less feet or 60 feet less, 70 feet less, to hit a home run. If you can get it over and where that foul pole's at. Just like in Boston, if he would have played for Boston this year, that would have served Freddie Freeman a lot better. The Dodgers Stadium, I think it's about 385, so I think it's a little less. I think it's about 15 feet shorter. I could be wrong. I don't get to watch a lot of the games, on on TV. I get the Braves all the time, because they're our home team. They're as closest to the home team as we can get. And we have 2 channels out here we can get the Braves on. It used to be Fox Sports Net and Fox Sports South or something like that. Now it's Bally. They changed it. Somebody else bought them out. Now it's Bally Sports or whatever. I don't know. It's some kind of crazy crap. And anyway, they bought out the Fox Sports stuff. So anyway, but they have a whole bunch of stuff similar to all kinds of sports. It's like, but I don't like it as much. I like the Fox Sports crew better, and I liked when Joe Simpson was doing the announcing. I can't believe he gave that up to go do the radio portion of things. I liked hearing Joe. I liked him and Chip Carey together, and I miss those days. And I think Brian Snicker's doing a good job. Freddie, you know, he don't seem to have as much power. Um, taking away, taking away my. Uh, I know that uh, Freddie had some problems with his eyes and had some problems, with his wrist. There were times he got hurt, which that's something else, when he's older. So when he's playing for the Dodgers, we'll have to see if that becomes something that flares up with them. It did with the Braves, and that cost Freeman a lot. If you take out the injuries that he suffered on purpose, when he's standing there, it's his stance. He don't move. His stance doesn't move. It doesn't allow him to move out of the way. He just stands there like a nylon log. And so his wrist, when you see him stand, if he stands the same way, I don't know how he'll do in the Dodgers. But if he stands about the same way as he did when he was playing with the Braves at the plate, he hunches over and he's got, like this big crouch thing. And, how he hits. I don't like that swing. I always hated that. Uppercut, finish to a swing. I think it just sucks. He's all right. Like I said, he has good games. I'll give it to him. He has times where he has some good games, and there'll be times when he hits 2 for 3 or 1 for 4, or he gets a couple. Like I said, he might get a couple walks, but he's not that dangerous of a hitter. I mean, he's not. He's not like Barry Bonds or Hank Aaron or somebody you'd fear at the plate. He's kind of that way, sort of like, but he's not like, oh my God, I just can't pitch to him. You could get Freddie out. Freddie's lifetime batting average is below 300 lifetime. So, I mean, it's like it's barely down below that, but I'm just saying it could get worse. Freddie's not a career 300 hitter every year. I'm certain that the lowest home run total he had since being with the Braves, not counting 2010, but 2011 on up, I think the lowest he hit was 18. And I always tried to sort of compare him to Chipper in some ways, and not saying that Chipper Jones is like the only comparison, but he's not even got up to close to being Chipper Jones's numbers at all. I mean, no, we're standing here and Freddie's got like 6 years. And unless he comes out and hits 40, 50 homers a year and he just does something so miraculous, and really starts to pull out, something kicks him in his own butt and he starts playing better than what he did in Atlanta. I mean, unless something like that comes out, I don't see Freddie being a player that, defensively, like I said, he's great at first base. But I always kind of think he's kind of that 60-40 kind of guy. He's kind of there, or 50-50, 60-40, something like that. He's kind of one of those somewhat hot, somewhat cold. He doesn't stay cold for a long time, don't seem like, but he doesn't get the big hits when you usually need them, except for, like I said, the World Series is one of those times when he really showed up and in the playoffs. But in past years, he hasn't really. Aside from, I know he's got two cycles. That takes a double, a single, a double, a triple, and a home. He's done that twice in his career. He's had multiple All Star appearances. Most of them, he doesn't get to play a whole lot. And one time he was actually injured. One of those years, or maybe two of those years, I don't remember. I know one of them he definitely was. But no, I like Freddie, and I think he's a good guy. I think that you can obviously see he smiles a lot. He mentioned about the Braves having certain things that about the eye makeup and the makeup they put on, and the hair has to be a certain way. Well, that's with most teams. Most teams, that some teams will let you go out there and look like a freaking George Animal Steel with hair all over your back and all over your chest and everything else, and a beard grown out. But the Braves, and I could see this. The Braves want you to be clean cut. They have a certain way they want their players to be. I've seen people with mustaches on. I mean, John Smoltz. It's not like nobody hadn't had hair on the Braves. They just don't want earrings hanging out your ears and on your ass. And you wearing a bunch of jewelry out there. They've let people wear necklaces out there. I've seen it. So I don't know where he's getting all this. Well, the Braves is strict. Oh, come on. I've seen some of the young Braves come out there now. Like I said, they just have a certain thing, and I would too. I probably wouldn't even want them to wear a necklace out there. It'd just be me. But I mean, it's not like the Braves hadn't done that. And I think I can almost speak for this, but I know that in due time, when Freddie Freeman becomes a free agent again, and his contract runs out, he will probably most likely be back with Atlanta. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's not like they fell out on good terms. It's not like they tried not to re-sign Freeman. I give the Braves credit, but he's a little money hungry. You know what I'm saying? He only got like 20 more $1 million and one fucking year difference. That's not a whole lot when you consider what they were offering. Like I said, I would have jumped at that. Hell, 5 years? Woo, man. I'd have been all over it. And, I'd have jumped all over it. I wouldn't mind, taking that offer myself. I could speak for a good portion of this audience, I bet. But I think had he played better on offense, I don't think the 6 years would have been that big a deal. But like I said, if you are a true fan of Braves baseball, and I give you credit, a lot of times I don't watch every game, but I try. I do my best. When especially they go over to Dodger stadiums or one of those California places or something, there's like this odd time, and it's like the games don't start till 10 o'clock, but it can be 7 o'clock their time or something. Yeah, those games I usually have a hard time watching because it's always dark. I really don't like watching those California teams play when the Braves go to their stadiums. But, I'm going to do everything I can. I told my wife, since she's a big Freddie Freeman fan, I'm going to try to get every game I can on here. I'm not going to get nowhere near if he'd been with the Braves. We'd have seen all of them. But to me, if you're being honest with yourself, I'm not trying to start anything here, but Freddie is like a little above average, but he's not a guy that's going to have 500 homers. He's not going to have you know, he's not going to have a ridiculous number of a batting average lifetime, or he'll get a couple of walks. He'll get his hits. I mean, I'm sure he'll have, at the rate he plays, and he doesn't get 200 hits in a season. So I think the most he's actually gotten in 1 year, I think, is about 190. I don't think, I could be wrong. He may have a 200 hit season in there somewhere. But I think the most I remembered seeing was 181, which, that's, you have to get 200 hits on a consistent basis if possible. Start getting into the 2,000 something range, especially 3 to 4,000. If you were to get 4,000, you'd have to hit 200 hits for 20, 21, 22 years consecutively, and be that good to get to Pete Rose's record, which I don't see Freddie doing. Not the way he plays. Like I said, I'm giving him credit, but there's just certain things that I've noticed and I picked up on. Like I said, the best thing for him is that, and that will benefit him later on when he has a little trouble at first base. The Dodgers or even the Braves, if he came back and played with the Braves after this 6-year deal run out, if he came back and say, well, he'd be 39. Now he'd be still 38. But basically, you could say he'd be a 39-year-old. Because his birthday, well, it's in September, but he wouldn't turn 39 until September of the next year. But still, he'd basically be a 39-year-old. He'd only be a few months away from being 39. So, I don't see how you could look at this any other way, really. And I know Chipper and a bunch of the Braves have, always thought, well, Freeman, nobody, to my knowledge, has ever, not even Ronald Acuna, I've heard his name been brought up. He was just giving his opinion on something. But I don't think he meant any harm to Freeman. I think what he was commenting on was the fact that, probably like me, he's probably upset that Freddie was being a little more money greedy and wanting an extra year on his contract when my God, he'd be 37 years old, almost 38 by the time that contract would have ran out. What the fuck? I mean, the only thing that I would have done differently, like I said, I would have just said, hey, look, I'll offer you a club option if you want me to do that. I'll put a club option there for 6 years. I think that's what could have been done, and I know that could have been done, but I don't think they were thinking about it. But had they put their head together, maybe he would have took that. If he didn't, which he could have been stubborn and still not took that as a way to get, and I don't know if they offered that way to him or not. But if he said, no, I want a 6 year, I would have said, well, if you play good, or at least up to what you've done so far, and you don't really get any worse, and you stay about the same, I'll think about it, And then he'd get his 6 year if he played up to what Freddie Freeman normally plays like. Give or take, he got a little bit better than that. I might, even offer him a 2 year deal and not have to worry about the club option. Because by then, like I said, when he's 38, 39, 40, if he's still playing by that time, if he still wants to play, that could be the way he finishes up with the Braves and by then he'll be willing to take less money because he won't he won't be nowhere near worth the time and the trouble of having to worry about how much money he'll get about a couple $1 million to play what little he wants to play. If he wants to do a 1 or 2 year deal, they might do that. And like I said, you could DH him now if he got where he couldn't play first. You wouldn't necessarily have to take the DH, or I mean the player off the team or send him down to AAA. The only bad thing about the DH is the pitchers don't get to hit. And I know for Madison Bumgarner and some of those that liked hitting up there and getting a couple of times to get a homer if they could get one. So I know Bumgarner is one of them that liked it. But I like the idea of having a universal DH, and it leaves no room to complain. So whether you play in the National League park or American League ballpark, in the championship series or in the World Series, it won't matter now. So nobody can complain. In 100 years from now, they'll be like, "Oh man, I wish they'd have done this 200 years ago." You know, because really, I can't wait to see the pitch clock. Although I think the pitchers are kind of self-conscious of that now. I wish they would do something about these batters calling for time and slacking around out there like that. That's something that needs to be addressed. If we want to save time, try to save time. That would be. Now I'm looking forward to seeing if the games are going to be how they're going to be in extra innings. I haven't seen one go extra innings yet, but I'm looking forward to that. See if they've fixed that back to the way it was. I don't want to see a runner on second and giving them a free chance to get a run in. They need to earn it. I don't even want to see one stand on first. I want to see them play like they should. Ain't no pandemic. Ain't no reason to play sissy ball after the 9 innings are up. They need to play till there's a winner. That's why I like baseball. Baseball, it's not over till it's over. And like I said, I like a lot of the new rules that's been implemented this year. Next year, they're going to have every team's going to get to play every team that they got in MLB. They're going to have, or at least every team gets to play every team, no matter what team they are. And so that'll be something to look forward to next year. And so, like I said, there's a lot here to be excited about, be a baseball fan. But I just want to kind of come out and give my thoughts on it and everything. But, it is what it is. Whether or not Freddie gets his number retired by any team or not, I don't know. If it was going to happen at this point, I'd probably bet on the Braves because he at least has played there at least 10 years. But my wife was like, Derek, do you think he's going to get his number retired? I don't know. I think he might go into the Braves Hall of Fame. Yeah, he played 10 years, and like I said, given that he might play to he's 39 or 40, he could come back and spend another year or two of what he's got left and kind of come in there and add to his stats. And by that time, he'll probably at least have over 2,000 hits for sure. He probably might be close to 3,000, but, I don't see him. It's hard to say because, like I said, anything could happen. But unless he gets super, super, super hot for some reason, I don't see him being an easy pick for the Hall of Fame. I don't see him maybe even not going in, period. And I think if he went in to the Hall of Fame, if you're asking me right now, Because like I said, this is toward the end of his career. I mean, this is the last big contract Freddie will get. So depending on how hot he gets, like I said, I don't think it's going to be steroids or not. Like I don't think Freddie's that type of person. But if he was to get hot or he was to like playing in the Dodger Stadium, he might figure something out. The hitting coach might help him. I don't know, but you know, uh, like I said, I think he'll be all right. But I don't know if he's a Hall of Fame bound guaranteed ticket, much like Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, Chipper Jones, Bobby Cox, and so on. Phil Necro, Hank Aaron, and a bunch of the Braves greats. I don't know, and can see like Andrew Jones and Dale Murphy. Dale Murphy's not in, but Dale Murphy and Andrew Jones is another couple of Braves that need some consideration. Andrew Jones, my thing with him is he was a lot better. Like Freddie's a lot better on defense, and so was and definitely so was Andrew Jones. I mean, if you took a tape of Andrew Jones and King Griffey Jr. or Willie Mays or some of them center fielders, all of these played really good and in their eras. I honestly think the problem with Andrew Jones not being in the Hall of Fame, like he's in the Braves Hall of Fame, but anybody could get in there. I mean, all you got to do is just play good for their team. That's just a team Hall of Fame. That's the same thing with Pete Rose. He ain't in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame due to gambling, but he's in the Reds Hall of Fame. And I'm surprised they let him on the field and all that stuff. I'm surprised a couple of years ago Pete Rose got to do the Fox Sports thing. They hired him for a little while, and then something came up, and something, I don't know, I forget now what it was, but they had to fire him. But, again, my opinion on Pete Rose, I know it's ain't the Braves, it's a little off topic, but, in my opinion, he belongs in the Hall of Fame. Now, regardless of what the rules are, today, and I'd say 90, almost 100% of people could probably agree with me. You'll have your couple people that just want to be jerks, but he didn't do any. He didn't murder nobody. He ain't killed nobody in any way. He's not. He's not been in the news for hurting people, raping people. All those horrible things that I could see. He gambled, which is why, he got a lifetime ban. It was supposed to be a lifetime ban. Well, if it was a lifetime ban, he wouldn't have been able to appeal it. And if I was Pete Rose, I would have never appealed it in the first place. Because they give you that option, but you almost know if they've made their decision is final. It don't matter who the commissioner is. But, I'm glad to see that at least, and I mean, 10 years from now, Freddie Freeman will look back when he's done. By then, he'll be done probably playing baseball 10 years from now. And he'll be looking towards to the Hall of Fame, in a couple of years' time after that. And the thing is, with Freddie Freeman, and by that time, like I said, it depends on what he ends up with and where he ranks. Now, he could, like I said, he could surprise me and be able to do pretty good in those 6 years, but he could also turn out the other way. We just have to wait and see. But definitely, if he gets to 3,000 hits or anything close to that, if he was to put on the best show he's ever put on, which he hasn't done for the Braves, but he ain't had that big knockout season. Now he's had some. I I'll take that back to a certain degree because I believe he's over the last 2 or 3 years. I think he's gotten more homers. Like he stays around the mid to late 20s to somewhere in the 30s on homers. So he's improved that. When he first started out, he was in between 18 to 20, 23 to maybe 25, 26. Now he's up to about 20 something to 30 something. He's never had a 40 homer season, I know. I think last year he finished with 30 something homers. I think it's 35, 37, something like that. I don't know. It was close. So again, Freddie has what I like to call the hot and cold spells. Most players do, but most of them it ain't that noticeable because they don't last that long and they stay hot for a longer period of time. Where Freddie, it's like he gets in a groove for 1 or 2 games, maybe 4 or 5 games if you're lucky, and then like he'll take a week or two to cool off. He'll go back down and he'll stay down maybe even for 3 or 4 weeks, and then it takes him that long just to get. And then when he gets started, it takes him that long to get warmed up. He's never been a streaky hitter. I don't know what his longest hitting streak is, but I know it's not 20 to 30 games. It's probably 8 to 10, 12, something low. So again, Freddie's not bad, but he's not like the greatest of all time. He'll never be looked at. It's not just my opinion, but I'm almost certain in almost all the experts. I mean, you're not going to get a Freddie Freeman card later on and see all these accolades be like Hank Aaron or Barry Bonds or anything close to that. Now, Freddie's got his awards. I mean, he's got a couple Silver Sluggers. He's got the Hank Aaron stuff. He's got a Gold Glove or two. He's got a couple All-Star appearances. But it's just, it's not going to be the eye-popping numbers that go, man, that's a definite Hall of Famer. And so I honestly think. Hang on just a minute. Thank you. Okay, sweetheart. I'll see you in a little bit. I was just making a video on Freddie Freeman and about the baseball. I love you. If you want to, I'll play it back when you get home. You like listening to my videos. I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Love you. I hope they ain't mad at me. But, that happens there once in a while. Oh, me. Anyway, I love you and I'll see you later. Bye. There's my wife. She sent me an audio message from her phone. Like I said, you can do audio messages now with the phones that we got now. But no, I was just going to finish up on this. But no, Freddie, he's always been good for the media. He always, like I said, he always smiles. You can tell I've watched a lot of Freeman. I'm not saying I've watched a lot of him. Like, when he first started, especially the first couple of years, I didn't watch the Braves like every game. So he could have from 2011 to about 2014 or somewhere through there, he could have, had a lot of good games and I just didn't know. But I hear in the last 4 or 5 years or so, I've practically watched. I try to watch every game. I didn't when 2020 season came around. I didn't, since I didn't get to play about 60 games, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. I didn't. That I just wasn't going to stand for. And it wasn't all due to COVID either. It was due to a lot of it was due to this money crap that almost cost them this year too. It almost cost them to miss games this year. So again, everybody needs to quit being so greedy and just go out there and play ball. You make money, and it's more than you'll ever need. It's not like it's going to keep. Sometimes you got to learn to take the offer and go with it. Like I said, it'd be a different story if we was talking about 1 year and change or something, and a little bit of change. But 5 years is a lot of time. I mean, that's a lot of games. Let's see, 162, and he's not going to play 162 every year anyway. But let's just say 162. So how many games is that? So right there, well, just take the 100, and that's 500 games. So 60, say 560, 562, 4, 8, 5, 7, 7. So 600. You're probably almost 1,000. I mean, it might be. I don't want to stay on here too long. I could eventually get it up. It's an odd number trying to add 162 up. But say he played almost 700 of those games, because he's not going to play every one of them. I don't know what the end total is going to be, but probably, let's say if it was 900, he's probably going to play 850 games. Give or take, it might be less because of injuries. Injuries could pop up, something could happen. His career could be over tomorrow. You never know. Due to an injury or something freakish might happen. You never know. But anyway, yeah. So again, it's just I'm not on Freddie Freeman's side on this. I'm on the Braves front office side. And, maybe, baseball, hey, if people want to play for their team and they like it as well as Freddie claimed to have liked Braves, but didn't show it, didn't show them the respect and taking the offer. 5 years, man, I'd take it. The money's there. The money is good enough. There's no way you're going to run broke. If you don't go out there and spend it like a jackass, and you don't go out there and spend it all on cars and crap you don't need, yeah, things are going to be a little bit more costly, but that money is more than you'll ever need if you buy the stuff you need and not buy the most expensive stuff that you don't really need. Buy what you need with it, put the rest of it back, put it up for his kids' fund, his college fund, or whatever. And then by the time his dad retires, then, his dad could go out there and make money doing autographs or something. Oh, I thought it was something. Okay. No. All right. Okay. But anyway, yeah, it's just Freddie's going to catch it from the Braves on this. The Braves fans. I mean, it's just there's no logic behind him being stupid about a 1 year difference. It's not like the Braves front office, if they thought of it, couldn't have offered him a 6 club year option. Just give him that 6 years a bonus if he does good the 5 years, and it's basically like Freddie Freeman numbers, or gets a little better even, or if it gets a little worse. If it gets a lot worse, I might think something different. But yeah, anyway, I think it's going to benefit pitchers being out there longer, and it won't be quite as easy to take a pitcher out. It might be a little tougher on them to get those perfect games, because now you'll have 9 hitters instead of 8 hitters and a pitcher. So, yeah, it's going to change some things. But I like the new rules so far. So anyway, I'll get off here and I'll see everybody later. Bye. And I think the Braves will probably play on one of their networks tonight. They played on ESPN last night. We lost 6-3, but that's not bad. But anyway, we'll see you later. Bye.